We're going to the world.
Here we go. All right, good afternoon, everybody. Kia ora koutou. Ko Angela Caves tōku ingoa, no mai, haere mai. Welcome to the Tairāwhiti Business Growth and Support Virtual Conference. My name is Angela Caves and I'm the Partnership and Events Lead with Digital Boost. Welcome to our audience who have joined us here in the webinar, and a warm welcome to those who may have joined us on Facebook Live, Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube live stream. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us. Welcome to day 2 of our conference. We've had a wonderful afternoon yesterday sharing the breadth of support that's available in the Tairāwhiti region, and we have a great session this afternoon and then one more day tomorrow as well. On the webinar with me this afternoon is my co-host from connected.govt.nz, Robin Barker. Robin is an Employment Liaison Advisor with Connected, so welcome along, Robin. Robin's going to take us through the webinar housekeeping, and then she's going to introduce our fantastic guest presenter. Thanks, Robin.
Kia ora. Thank you, Ange. For those who are joining us in the webinar, you can see and hear us, but we can't see nor hear you. So please feel free to add any questions or comments into the chat by using the Q&A function available. We'll address any questions towards the end of the presentation. Our sessions are being recorded and will be uploaded to YouTube on the Digital Boost channel for post-event viewing. All registered attendees will be provided a link to this via email. It's now my pleasure to introduce Tui Babington from Amotai, who is the Supply Diversity Lead. It's all yours, Tui. Kia ora.
Kia ora, thank you, Robin and Angela. Ko waio, ko Hikirangi te Maunga, ko Waiapu te Awa, ko Ngāti Porou te Iwi, ko Ruataupare te Hapu, ko Te Ariuru te Marae, ko Tui Babington tōku ingoa, ngā rehe I vizaho. Kia ora e te whānau in Tairāwhiti. I'm Tui Babington. I am the Supply Diversity Lead for Amotai. And I'll just walk you through a bit of a presentation about what we do and how we support Māori and Pasifika whānau and engaging with buyers and getting opportunities through procurement and contracts. So first up, I've got a little presentation and a little video. So I'll just share my screen and we can go from there.
Supplier diversity is a global practice. Here in Aotearoa, our experience is that Māori and Pasifika businesses are the untapped change agents in creating a more inclusive and more sustainable New Zealand economy. Business is one of the main ways Māori and Pasifika can build wealth for their families and communities. That's why we advocate for supplier diversity, getting more Māori and Pasifika businesses contract opportunities with government agencies, local councils, private enterprises, iwi and other not-for-profit organisations. Supplier diversity is a strategic and intentional business process that proactively engages, supports and enables businesses owned by Indigenous people, minority groups, women and social enterprises to be engaged in business-to-business supply chains. Here in Aotearoa, supplier diversity specifically focuses on Māori and Pasifika businesses. Its aim is to level the playing field so these businesses have fairer access to customers and markets. By diversifying your spend, you open up incredible benefits not just for the organisations you contract, but for your own organisation as well. Supplier diversity enables this to happen and supports economic development not just for Māori and Pasifika communities, but for Aotearoa as a whole. When Māori and Pasifika communities prosper, we all prosper. A Māori business is a business that has at least 50% shareholdings by someone who has whakapapa Māori. A Pasifika business is a business that has at least 50% shareholdings held by someone who has Indigenous whakapapa links to the Pasifika nations. Supplier diversity helps to close the wealth gap in Aotearoa, create more employment opportunities for Māori and Pasifika people, create more Māori and Pasifika role models, grow more Māori and Pasifika businesses, drive innovation, and much more. Creating quality supplier diversity programs is also a major competitive advantage and can lead to winning more work, accessing new revenue streams and new markets. So, how does it work? Amotai is the supplier diversity intermediary and experts in supplier diversity in Aotearoa. We connect Māori and Pasifika businesses to contract opportunities. Māori and Pasifika businesses register with Amotai for free. Their business ownership is verified by our verification team, and we connect with each business to learn more about their services and business journey. Buyers that want to buy from Māori and Pasifika businesses subscribe to Amotai and can choose the level of support they require to connect and purchase from Amotai businesses. Having one verified database makes it easy for buying organisations to search for Māori and Pasifika businesses by region and category of work and purchase from those businesses. Supplier diversity creates a more inclusive and more sustainable New Zealand economy. The tide is turning. Join Amotai, Supplier Diversity Aotearoa.
Great. Sorry, I'm just got this lady. Cool. Right, so I'll just grab my presentation. Give me a second. Perfect. Cool. Can everyone see that? Hopefully. So, yeah, great. Welcome to the Amotai presentation this afternoon. Thank you for joining me. Amotai has been in Tairāwhiti for, what are we now? Just over a year. So I started in this role in June last year, and my main role in region was to help build the supplier database of Māori and Pasifika within our region, and to support the Provincial Growth Fund contracts that had supply diversity clauses in them. So we'll go through my presentation and hopefully some of that will make a bit more sense. So supply diversity is part of social procurement. So social procurement is a buzz phrase that we're all hearing about nowadays, and social procurement is buying any kind of goods and services that have a social impact or outcome to it. So here are some examples of what supply diversity social procurement is, and where we kind of play, which is in the right-hand corner here around supply diversity. But there's also some really good examples here of what social procurement looks like. So that could be implementing wahine into programs, upskilling rangatahi, and adding cultural aspects to projects. So getting a Māori artist to complete the design work of some projects out there. But as mentioned, we sit in the supply diversity realm, which is looking at our Māori and Pasifika and diversifying our supply chain through that. The government has actually set a target of 5% of their procurement spend to be with Māori and Pasifika. So that kind of tells you a couple of things. One, that the government are not spending at least 5% with Māori and Pasifika businesses. And so that also shows that there's a really good opportunity for our Māori and Pasifika businesses to grow their capability and capacity in this space. So government particularly use what we call a procurement process, and they will need to complete documentation to go out to market and put their projects online. So if there is a project that is over 100K, then the government uses a procurement toolkit called GETS. So www.government.co.nz gets.govt.nz, and a lot of their opportunities will go to that website. So you can register your interest on that website in your field of category. So if you're in construction, or if you're a cleaner, or even if you're in health and safety officer, you can register on there and you will be notified of any opportunities that come up. Government, so that was over 100k, and anything under 100k, we are now starting to see opportunities come through the Amotai platform, and agencies are starting to engage with us more on a direct approach, which is really awesome for our Māori and Pacifica businesses. So these are some of the supply diversity levers that kind of kick-started Amotai. So Amotai was kind of born out of Auckland City Council. We did some research around what Auckland Council was spending with Māori and Pacifica businesses in South and West Auckland, and we soon found out that not a lot of money was being spent. So these are some of the projects that were kickstarted to support Māori and Pacifica businesses starting relationships with councils and central government agencies. So earlier along the timeline, you'll see here in 2020, there were a couple of Gisborne units that were developed with a Māori business called Iconic Group. Local suppliers will know who they are. And they were linked up with Kāinga Order to build some houses across the rohe. And so further down the timeline, you'll see the government set that 5% target that I talked about, and some of the PDU contracts that I mentioned had supply diversity clauses in them. So talking locally, we're talking about Midway Surf Club, the Olympic Pool, Rugby Park, and there's another one and it's just lost my mind. But a lot of these government contracts had either supply diversity clauses in them, or how I've been supporting the main contractor is by looking at the Amotai database and saying, hey, who in these trades can support getting these projects off the ground? So I've had some great success with Midway Surf Club and Rugby Park. I've been meeting with the project managers on a monthly basis there. And I believe, the main contractor is getting underway, and some of our suppliers and trades will be able to support in that. And I've recently just introduced one of our Māori businesses to help with the demolition of that project, which is really awesome. So Amotai connects Māori and Pacifica businesses with buyers. So a buying agency, this is a lot of terminology, but the supplier is the Māori or Pacifica business, and the buyer is the government agency, iwi, local council, and anyone else that wants to buy from a Māori or a Pacifica business. And this is our little case study here. So this is Aroha. Aroha is based up in Auckland. She was a cleaner her whole life. She was in a leadership role for 8 years, had never managed, she was a cleaner for her whole life, had been in a management role for 8 years and had never had a pay rise. She reached out to Amotai and said that she wanted to start her own business. She had a lot of qualifications in cleaning, and she reached out to us. We linked her up with a mentor to help her set up a business, and she was registered on our database. One of our big buyers up in Auckland gave her a contract of circa 600,000. This meant that Aroha was able to employ staff, keep them on the living wage, and grow her business. Since that contract, she's been awarded 4 other contracts with some of our other buyers on our database. So she cleans for construction sites, residential and commercial, which is really awesome for her. So what we do, so we provide support to buyers wanting to implement supply diversity. So that's quite a key piece of our role. So we work across our buyers. We've got over 150 buyers in our database, ranging from, like I mentioned, iwi, councils, central government agencies, and then like the big tier 1 businesses like Fulton Hogan, Downers, Unispace. We've got big buyers that want to diverse their supply chains, so they've registered with us. A buyer does pay a membership for our information in our database, and we, depending on the level of membership that they purchase from us, we then provide matchmaking support for them, and we also help out with policies and procedures to implement supply diversity into their organisations. So we also have a module for our 5 modules that we've written. They're an e-training module for our buyers, and we've offered that to our buyers for free, and that educates them on how to implement supply diversity. It's really cool that we're now starting to see what projects are coming up, and our kōrero with our buyers is, hey, let's have a look at your pipeline of work, and how can we plug in our Māori and Pacifica businesses into these projects. So yeah, we have an online database that verifies Māori and Pacifica owned businesses. So you must be 50% owned by a Māori or a Pacifica who self-identify as Māori or Pacifica. And then we have a team based in Auckland that verify through our certification process and just check that you are the director of the business and, that you have 50% ownership. It's really important for us to understand the capability and capacity of our Māori whānau and our Pacifica whānau, and also to understand the ecosystem to support Māori and Pacifica to grow capability in whatever space they need. So speaking locally, that's obviously, working alongside TPK, Trust Tairāwhiti, Māori Women's Development, Potama Trust, and plugging in all their services to support our businesses so that they can get these contracts. This is just a list of our buyers, as mentioned earlier, and we have a team of regional supply diversity leads that manage every one of these relationships and understand where they're at with their supply diversity journey and how to implement that going forward. So here's some really cool insights into where we've got to today. So we've got over 1,300 businesses that are verified Māori or Pacifica businesses on our database. In Tairāwhiti, actually, we've got 40 businesses, I believe, to date. But I know that there is a lot more businesses out there that are Māori owned that just haven't quite registered with Amotai. Of those businesses, the average employee number is 12, and 67% of those employees are Māori and Pacifica. So yeah, that's really awesome to know. So Amotai is the supply diversity intermediary. So we work quite closely with central government to bring on our central government agencies like Kāinga Ora, like Ministry of Education and Ministry for the Environment, MPI. All of these agencies are now starting to think about how do they spend their money, and can we spend our money with Māori and Pacifica businesses. So we are starting to see some doors opening with some of our agencies like Kāinga Ora and Ministry for Education in the construction space. So we're seeing opportunities up the coast at Whangara School and a a couple of other schools that are needing relocation, and the Ministry of Education is direct awarding a lot of these contracts to local Māori businesses. So it's my job to understand who those businesses are, get them registered on the Amotai database, go through our process of onboarding a Māori and Pasifika business, doing a whakatau to really understand where you are with your capability and capacity, and saying, yes, we've got opportunities for you. And so this space is so new, and it is growing, and I'm really excited about the opportunities that are going to be out there for our Māori and Pasifika whānau. So if you're out there and you're thinking, hey, can I start my own business up, just give me a call and we can really talk through what that actually might look like. When having conversations with our buyers, when we're asked to share their project plans, it's saying, hey, look, maybe our Māori and Pasifika businesses don't meet your criteria right now, but you've got a pipeline of work for 10 years. Let's see if some of our businesses can plug in at year 3, year 5, year 7. So yeah, that's basically us in a nutshell. So like I said, give me a call if you want to discuss anything further. Register online at amotai.nz. And yeah, what I would mention is we do have a tender workshop that we're working with one of our suppliers on the database. It's a business called Height. He's Ngāti Porou, but based in Auckland, and has a big tendering business. And he's offered to come to Tairāwhiti and work with some of our Māori and Pasifika whānau that are wanting to tender with government or any other agency that uses that tender process. And go from there. So keep an eye out for that. I'm working with Trust Tairāwhiti on that one. So we will be putting out a pānui soon to help, build that capability and your marketing collateral going forward. Cool, thank you.
Oh, kia ora tui. That was fabulous. A great range of diversity products and information for our Māori and Pasifika people. Fantastic. I've just got some pātai for you.
Yes.
The first one is, how does one register for Amotai?
Yeah, sure. So you can just go onto our website, www.amotai.nz. And you just list yourself as a supplier.
Ka pai.
It's a 10-minute form, and it won't take too long to do.
Great stuff. The next pātai, is there someone in the region we can talk to?
Yes, that is me.
That's you.
Yeah, so I look after the Tairāwhiti and Te Mātua Māui region and Hawke's Bay as well. So yes, I'm based here in Tairāwhiti in Gisborne. I work from home, but I go out and meet all of our clients and suppliers on a daily basis. So yeah.
Ka pai. That's a big mahi covering Hawke's Bay and Tairāwhiti.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Ka pai. Our next pātai is, what kind of business is Amotai looking for?
Yeah, good question. We're looking for any Māori or Pasifika business that is verified as a 50% ownership. So as long as you're 50% owned by a Māori or a Pasifika, then that's our only criteria.
Oh, kia ora. And our last pātai, who are some of your buyers and what types of contracts are there?
Yeah, cool. So we've all started, so there's a supply diversity lead in most of the regions across the country, and we all have buying relationships as well as, our suppliers as well in our regions. So I manage the 40 suppliers that I mentioned in Tairāwhiti. But some of my buyers that I have are all the councils within our 2 regions. So there's 5 Hawke's Bay councils and obviously GDC. So they're one of my buyers. So I have monthly hui with all of my buyers to understand what opportunities there are for our businesses on our database. So yeah, so I've got a range of central government agencies, so the Ministry for the Environment, DOC, MPI, the 6 councils, and then I've got a couple of other buyers that are in the construction space, like Ecotech, Unispace. So I've got a very big and broad role.
You certainly have. I'm actually looking forward to coming and having a chat to you, because there's so many people I'd like to connect with in there as well.
Awesome.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you for your presentation, Tui. I'll now hand over to Angela. Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Thanks, Robin. Yeah, thanks, Tui. It's always great to have Amotai on our conferences, and hearing about the amazing work that you guys are doing, connecting our Māori and Pacifica business to big opportunities. Out of curiosity, for my own knowledge, are the contracts that a supplier might get, are they long or are they short, or are they a massive range of sort of, it could be a 6-week project or 6-month project? What do they look like?
Yeah, just exactly that, Ange. It depends on what the opportunity is. So, looking at some of my my buyers, it could be short-term projects or it could be long-term. So obviously in the construction space, they tend to be more long-term, but someone like MPI or Ministry for the Environment might be just looking for a researcher to complete a feasibility study or something like that. So they will, and if there's cultural aspects to some of those contracts, then they'll definitely come through the Amotai database and see what kind of suppliers we've got to fill these contracts.
Okay. And thanks for that, Tui. We've actually just had a question come through on our Q&A. Do you have many opportunities for small business with less than 5 employees? Which is actually, I was going to ask something really similar. So are you looking for people that are, even your sole traders, your really small FTE through to sort of your medium size and bigger businesses?
Yeah, totally. I mean, happy for that person to come and have a kōrero with me. I mean, as I mentioned, it is a new kind of concept, especially that the government have set this 5% target, and the government actually don't know how to implement this yet. So Amotai is just a platform or a tool for them to be able to say, hey, we know that Amotai verify Māori and Pacifica whānau, and if they want to tick their 5% box, then they will come to us and say, hey, here are some opportunities. So it doesn't matter the size of your business. That's not what we're looking at. Our main thing is, what does your capability and capacity look like? So using MOE as an example for this fencing contract that they've got at Whangara School, they need someone to be able to do the job within the school holidays when the kids aren't at school. So, there's these kind of this kind of criteria that's put into the projects, and that might not suit some of our whānau. So we try and get our buyers to think forward, but we also are trying to get our Māori and Pacifica businesses to be able to plug into some of those contracts at the right time.
Right.
Yeah,
makes sense. And so I guess off that, the best thing that we can do for our Māori and Pacifica business is just come and have a chat with you guys, I think, and really that you guys will help unpack what their capabilities are and where you might be able to slot them in. So please reach out to Tui. Tui is fabulous to work with. We've been working together for months, and I can't recommend her any more highly.
Thank you.
That does kind of bring our session to a close. I will briefly also just pop up on the screen here if you want to watch this recording back. If you want to get in touch with Robin at Connected, there are her details on the screen. Robin will also be able to tee you up with the likes of Tui, or pass you on to any of the other organisations who, we work all together in this ecosystem of support. So please reach out to Robin if you need any further info there. And Digital Boost will help you on your transformation journey of going digital. If you think you're doing digital really well already, please come and see us or reach out to our support team. We would love to showcase you on our platform as well. That does bring our session to a close. I do apologise, we've run 1 minute over time, so sorry about that. Please join us for our last session of the day at 2:30. We're going to be joined by the Ministry of Social Development, and then we'll be hearing from 4 other government agencies tomorrow afternoon from 12 p.m. Thank you so much for joining us if you've joined us in the webinar or if you've joined us via our live stream. It's been a pleasure to host you. Thank you again, Tui and Robin, for joining me this afternoon. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Thank you again.
Kia ora, Ange.
Yeah.
Kia ora, ka kite, Tui.